Friends, today again we have very interesting topic for the discussion: how to improve operational immunity during and post COVID-19 through effective management tools. Today we have Mr. Shiv Kumar with us. Let me introduce him. He is postgraduate from Delhi University. He joined Steel Authority of India, SAIL in 1975 as management trainee and later on promoted as branch manager for 8-9 branches. He headed North East region as a chief business manager. He had different portfolios like sales and marketing, including international trade, logistics, project sales, management of stockyard system from headquarters. After serving 21 years of SAIL, he held different position in steel industry, innovating business and corporate affairs, including banking. He turned around many Sikh industries in India and Sri Lanka. He is life member of All India Management Association, Delhi Management Association, Indore Management Association. He is also life member of Life Divine Society. He is also visiting speaker of IIM Indore. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you, sir?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gulab. How are you?
Fine, sir. I have worked with you for almost 5 years, and I
Yes,
personally
yes,
learned
yes.
a lot from you, sir.
Learning is always mutual, you see. You learn from each other. It is not one way. It's a two-way traffic.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Can we have some questions from you, sir? Uh,
you see, instead of having a question answer session, I would like to first explain
yeah.
a few things of life. You see, if you drive in a hilly terrain, there are sharp bends and blind spots, if you remember, or if you have ever driven in the hillside. Now, every turn there can be a blind spot, and this COVID is a blind spot. It has come suddenly, and people were not really prepared for it. People thought it is like a normal influenza, it will go, it will come. But as it has increased its intensity, the global commercial socio-economic scenario has undergone a drastic change. The people are not living the way they were living before COVID. People will not live the way they were living after COVID. Same will be with the industry. Now, industry, because of the severe lockdown in many countries, including India, probably again the industry was not prepared for it. Most of the industries work on a very thin margin, and such margins you can't afford to shut down the industry and pay to the workers and pay your EMIs. That is another scenario. But the fact is, you have no work to do, no money to pay, but the worker is there to, because he has to also eat food 3 times a day. Now, again, a moral responsibility whether you can pay him or not, whether you pay half or you pay full. But the situation has gone out of control. Basically, people were not expecting this to happen, but this has happened. Now, having happened this, you see, generally people, what they do SWOT analysis, but management, old funda of management is SWOT analysis. Now, to my mind, SWOT analysis is a zero sum game. I don't know whether you as the accountant will understand. Zero sum means when you do SWOT analysis of yourself and somebody else, somebody will gain, somebody will lose. Whatever you gain will be the loss of somebody. Whether you reduce price, you increase advertisement, you try to get his market share into your kitty. He loses, you gain, or you loses, he gain. The net sum is zero. So you are not creating anything. But this is the time when this will not work, because there's very little to lose and very little to gain,
Mhm.
unfortunately. So probably you will have to really use your resource and energy to create something new. Now, creation can be done either by small steps or by quantum jump. Now, small steps time has gone. I recall, you see, there is a quantum theory of physics, I don't know whether you are a science student or not, but in quantum theory, in an atom, there is a nucleus, then there are orbits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, in orbits, there are electrons. Electrons revolve in their own orbit with their energy. Now, if they want to go to the higher orbit, energy has to be given more than what is required, because he has to get out of the nonsense and then go to a separate orbit. The same here. Now, today's situation is that you may have to spend extra resource and energy to go to a higher orbit. But now, from where the resource and energy will come? The question will come, where is the resource? All those governments are giving certain benefits, but where is the resource? Now, in such situation, you have to create a resource also. Now, resource does not mean money. You can always change the line. For example, I will tell you, as we have discussed earlier, this Pratibha Syntex. The company was almost at the verge of closure because they didn't have much orders, or the management was a little here and there. Now suddenly COVID gave them an opportunity to jump onto the bandwagon of mask and PP. Today, as again you also mentioned that they are having orders, their order book is full for next 4 years. Now a lot of fabricator I know, this foot driven sanitizer which are kept in front of various shops or buildings, or small fabricators, they have innovated this. And maybe there is no fabrication work, so fabricate the dispenser, very simple dispenser, one hollow section, one pedal, and then one bottle stand, and you pump it on the
that will press from upside.
That will press from upside. Simple, a very simple device, but very innovative. No rocket science. At least he is able to survive. His welder, his cutter, his labor, he was asked them, "Bhai, you stay back, you will do something." Instead of doing nothing, they start doing this, and it's a flourishing business, and it will remain flourishing for some time. Another thing, you see, sanitizer. You see, now hand sanitizer, nobody knew how it will. Now ethanol-based hand sanitizer, now probably everybody on the earth is making it. The what we call this perfume fellows or chemical fellows or whosoever,
Sugar
even medicine, yes, sugary. Now everybody has gone for it. Now they made enough money to sustain. Another important thing which we must learn in this situation is that, you see, unfortunately in India, the skill mapping of worker is not there. UP government started it in a big way. Now every district must have a skill mapping of the workers, whether they are living within the state or the district, or or whether they are working outside. The idea is whether their skill can be used to improve the productivity and the innovation. Now, for example, somebody is working in Bombay. He is working on a CNC machine. You can't provide a CNC in Indore village or where he has come, or Khandwa or anywhere. But then his skills are more on electronic and mechanical. So anything which is electronic and mechanical, probably his skill can be used. So this type of skill mapping is required. Where the governments have failed in these 3 months, I must say, there is a total failure by the governments. Not only they failed to map the skill, this time they failed to utilize to upgrade the skill. If the first skills would have been upgraded in 3 months, the worker would have been able to get some job in the location where he was working. For example, somebody was working in Bombay or Hyderabad. Now, under the lockdown, if the owner, instead of asking him that I don't have any job, get him trained in something which he plans to do after COVID, at least he would improve his skill and he will still remain with him. A very specific example I will give you of skilling. There is a nut and bolt factory, a very popular one in Ludhiana, that Deepak Kalra's factory. What's the name of the brand? I will tell you. Now, they put up a factory in Madhya Pradesh. Now, while they were putting the factory, they have two options. Either they take skilled labor from other factories, giving them 200, 500, 600 extra, or alternatively, have your own pilot project where you train your guys. Now, they opted the second policy. Now, they run a pilot machine and trained the local village workers in operating those machines. Now, when their actual system came, they have a ready pool of workers who are ready to operate all the machines. So they don't have to go to any other industry, ask extra money to be paid to the workers. Now, at a very nominal cost, he trained, and a lower cost than other industry, he was able to give a job to his workers. Now, this type of things must be done. This is my feeling. And very important thing I feel is that existing norms of working will change and making decision will be difficult because people will not know where the decision will take. That is very important. Now, I take a decision, I don't know what will happen after 2 years, 3 years, because sanitizer demand will not remain after 1 year, 2 years. It will go down. PPE kit demand also has already started going down further because the requirement is fulfilled. Now we'll talk of export. Where you will export? People will not use PPE kit in normal situation. This also will ultimately. So one has to think of something else, which can work out 1.5 years, 2 years. If vaccine comes, then probably everybody will say, what the hell, I should use the mask and the kit. I will take a vaccine shot and I am happy. Why should I use it? So similarly, pharma industry, of course, they are working on a double speed to get the vaccine. But I have my doubt whether this is the right approach or the wrong approach. Because normally vaccine takes around 2 years to establish itself. Coronavirus will change its character, mutate, it will mutate and become something else. So by the time the vaccine comes, he said goodbye, thank you very much. Your vaccine is ready for somebody else. I'm not that. I've changed. So this is another issue which need to be tackled. Otherwise, the old vaccine would have been used because it is a SARS family. This COVID is from the SARS family. SARS vaccine should have worked, but it is not working. When COVID vaccine is ready, it may not work. And a lot of hit and trial is going on, which is, of course, way forward, but this is not correct way forward. It is not correct way forward. Now, to my mind, you see, not only you should create new opportunities, but first of all, future uncertainty has to be pinpointed. Try to pinpoint as close as possible what will be the situation after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. At least if you may go wrong because, but today going wrong is less possible because you have artificial intelligence, you have data analysis, you have IoT. So probably you can pinpoint with some certainty that what will be the uncertainty. So it is pinpointing uncertainty with some certainty. So this is one important point. Now, every plan must have a provision to frequently change. You see, for example, you can't say, I made a plan and that is over. If you are successful, you fail. You pass. If you are unsuccessful, you fail. Be prepared for a plan with a provision to frequent changes. Every day there will be change. So try to change it. Try to change it every time there is a new environment, you change it. Don't stick to it. And to top of it, I think it is important for the business to know when to get out. Very important. People actually get married to the business. and they don't get out. Immediately, the moment you feel it is not serving the planned purpose or the frequent change purpose, try to quit. Look for something else. And conservation is another thing. You should conserve whatsoever you can conserve. You must conserve. You must conserve because the extravagant time has gone. It will never come again. It will never come again. One has to save, save, and save. That is the philosophy. That must be the philosophy of the business or even livelihood, I should say. Instead of purchasing, even if it is not required, people do purchase. But that habit has to go. Another very important point is that what to do, who will do, and how it will be done. These three questions everybody must answer. Factory owner, business owner, individual. What will be, what to do, who will do, and how it will be done. These three W's or 2W1H, I should say. 2W1H must be understood and answer should be available. And it is important to minimize risk and maximize opportunity. As we say, execution will be the most important aspect. If you fail to execute as per plan, the chances of failure will be more. Today also industry fail because they don't execute as per plan. Plan go here and there and you just keep on walking. But if you don't execute it properly, the chances of failure will be much more because the situation will be like that. This is what I feel is the current scenario and how to come out of it.
Sir, you have answered my almost all the questions, but I will ask, since you have served more than 45 years in steel industry, so how steel industry will perform?
You see, steel has been facing challenges in the last 50, 60 years. A lot of challenges. Earlier we used to say, you see, aluminum has replaced steel in many areas. So we felt that steel will go, aluminum will come. Now even plastic today has replaced even aluminum and steel. So there is a intermetal competition is there between steel. Now carbon fiber components are even stronger than steel. If you see racket plays like badminton or tennis, there used to be wooden rackets, if you remember.
Correct.
Then the steel rackets came. Steel racket has a lower weight and a higher strength. People were very happy. Then alloy rackets came. Then carbon rackets are also there now.
Correct.
Carbon rackets are stronger than steel and even lighter than steel. So steel has a future because in many areas it is not replaceable. You can't have a car body of carbon fiber because the cost will be prohibitive. Lot of things you can't have because the cost in a steel almirah you can't have carbon almirah. Cost will be very high. So steel has to remain. Now steel people has to increase productivity, bring down cost, and move to higher grades. One example I will give you. Japanese steel industry is static at around 70-80 million or 60-70 million tons per annum, which they achieved around 20 years back. They have not increased the capacity. Whereas in India or even in China, we run after capacity. What they have done, they have gone in for value addition. Today, probably most of these components for space or aircraft or armory are given by Japanese. Now, a small example I will give you. When this BS6 fuel will come, the petrol tank of the cars, we are not ready with the steel what will be used. So Koreans and Japanese have already using it. So we have not even thought of it. So we must think ahead of time. Now tomorrow what will happen? Diesel and petrol will go. Car will be run, electric car will come, zero maintenance, no fuel, and number of moving parts will come down as compared to today. There will be no engine, no cylinder, no oil, because it runs on motor like traction would. You remember the tram days? I don't know whether you remember. Calcutta, Delhi.
Calcutta side, sir. Correct.
Now, tram is almost maintenance free. Tram, there is no maintenance as compared to bus or a truck. Bus, truck, you need to maintain it every day. Tram, there is no maintenance. It runs on a motor, electricity. The only problem was that the connection between the wire and the pole sometimes used to go, then the conductor and driver will come out, they will with a danda and they will fix it and tram will again come.
Correct.
So electrical vehicle will change the scenario. Absolutely.
Ancillary units को भी दिक्कत आएगा, sir.
Ancillary unit will die unless and until they do something else. Unless and until they do something else, they will. There is no future for ancillary.
Move a step ahead, otherwise they will die.
They have. Everybody has to move a step ahead. That is the only answer. Even steel industry. Not instead of tonnage. Suppose we are making 60-70 million tons today. Why can't we improve? And another thing I will tell you, whenever in a developing country, the portion of construction material is more, like TMT bars, angle channel. Whereas as you move ahead, there is a shift from construction to goods industry. That is refrigerator, washing machine, cars, all need steel. But they don't need TMT bar. They don't need angle and channel. They need sheet of good quality, which is rust proof, so that it can survive for 10 years in a hostile environment. So rusting in steel is a subject by itself. So steel industry must change their pattern. They should move to more value addition instead of remaining where they are. Tonnage, we have to forget.
Correct, sir. So actually this session is very fantastic session and we have learned a lot from you, but my last question will be, you have seen so many ups and downs in your journey of life. So please tell us about your life mantra to handle this situation.
While everybody has to draw out their own plan, which is important, but there are certain basics. Basics are that you should always have confidence in yourself. Up and down will come and go. It is like, you see, suppose I take you to the cricket. A bowler bowls 6 balls. Every ball he feels he will take a wicket, isn't it? The bowler intention is to take the wicket. But every ball it does not take wicket. Similarly, batsman also wants to hit a boundary on all the balls. 20-20, 50-50 and all that. But he is not able to hit boundaries every ball. Now he misses the ball. Now if he connects and miss, he's out. If he connects and connects properly, he scores 4. So one has to be, now if he doesn't connect 5 balls, 6th ball he becomes impatient and he make a mistake. He always makes a mistake. So this is what need to be avoided. Don't lose confidence in yourself. Keep your eyes and ears open. Keep your eyes and ears open. Eyes and ears means you must observe what is happening. You must listen to what is going around. Number 2. Number 3, have a philosophy. You see, we have a philosophy of eagle and snake in management, which is very important. Eagle flies very high, but he can see the crawling snake few miles down below the line in the grass. And when to attack is another important aspect. One must learn from this eagle snake story. Now, if he gets right on the target, he gets the feed. If he doesn't get, he has to survive without food. Even for, you see, what we call these predators, animals, you see, lion or cheetah or in jungle, it's a matter of, if he gets the feed. If he misses, he goes without food. So one has to be prepared for this, that if I don't get my kill, I will have to remain hungry. Simple as that. Don't lose confidence. Have confidence in yourself. Mark your target and then attack. Otherwise, difficult. Have empathy. You can't be running with the sword all the time. You must have empathy. You must have ethics, which is non-animal. For animal instinct, you survive. For human instinct, you must have ethics. You must be sensitive to people also, whereas animals are not.
Correct.
So this is the way one should move ahead. Keep yourself healthy, happy, and fit. Healthy and happy. You see two things: healthy and happy.
Thank you very much for sparing time with us and sharing your valuable thoughts with us. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Gulab. Thank you.